In the years leading up to the outbreak of the Second World War, the United Kingdom found itself confronted with an unprecedented aerial threat. The rapid rearmament of Germany and its burgeoning Luftwaffe presented a formidable challenge to British air defences. It was within this climate of mounting tension and technological urgency that the supermarine Spitfire emerged, a fighter aircraft destined to become one of the most iconic symbols of British resilience and innovation during the conflict. The genesis of the Spitfire can be traced to the early 1930s, a period marked by intense competition among British aircraft manufacturers to produce a cutting-edge fighter capable of countering the increasingly advanced designs appearing across Europe. At the forefront of this effort stood Reginald J. Mitchell, chief designer at Supermarine Aviation Works. Mitchell's vision was to create a fighter that combined speed, agility, and firepower, qualities that would allow the Royal Air Force to meet and overcome the evolving threat posed by potential adversaries. Central to the Spitfire's innovative design was its distinctive elliptical wing shape. This wing configuration was not merely an aesthetic choice but a technical triumph aimed at reducing aerodynamic drag while providing excellent lift characteristics. The wing's thin cross-section and gentle curvature contributed to the aircraft's renowned maneuverability, enabling it to outturn many contemporaries in dogfights. This engineering feat was complemented by the integration of the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, a powerful liquid-cooled V12 powerplant that delivered exceptional performance across a wide range of altitudes and speeds. The Merlin engine's reliability and responsiveness endowed the Spitfire with a top speed and rate of climb that were unmatched by most fighters of the period. This combination of aerodynamic refinement and engine power allowed the Spitfire to achieve speeds exceeding 350 miles per hour in its initial versions, a remarkable figure for the mid-1930s. Moreover, the aircraft's armament of 8.303 Browning machine guns, distributed across the wings, ensured that it could unleash a devastating volume of fire in engagements against enemy bombers and fighters alike. As tensions in Europe escalated towards full-scale war, the Royal Air Force faced the daunting task of preparing its air defences with a limited number of these advanced aircraft. When Britain declared war on Germany in September 1939, the RAF had only a modest fleet of Spitfires available, supplemented by the older Hawker Hurricanes, which formed the backbone of its fighter strength. The initial months of the conflict, known as the Phony War, saw little aerial combat, but the strategic importance of the Spitfire was already clear to military planners. The Luftwaffe, emboldened by its rapid successes in Poland and later in Western Europe, posed a substantial threat to Britain's security. Its fighter force, dominated by the Messerschmitt Bf 109, was composed of highly trained pilots and well-maintained aircraft. British intelligence recognized that to defend the British Isles effectively, the RAF would need to deploy the Spitfire in sufficient numbers to contest air superiority. The aircraft's superior speed and agility made it the ideal tool for intercepting incoming raids and challenging the Luftwaffe's dominance in the skies. Despite its advanced design, the Spitfire was not without its early challenges. Production constraints and the complexity of its manufacturing process limited the number of aircraft that could be delivered rapidly. This shortage placed immense pressure on the RAF, which had to train pilots quickly while ensuring that they were proficient in handling such a sophisticated and demanding aircraft. Moreover, the Spitfire's early variants had a relatively short operational range, which initially limited their ability to escort bombers or conduct extended patrols deep into enemy territory. Nonetheless, the strategic significance of the Spitfire was unmistakable. It was central to Britain's air defense doctrine, serving as the spearhead of fighter command's efforts to repel the anticipated Luftwaffe onslaught. The aircraft's presence boosted morale among both pilots and civilians, symbolizing a tangible technological edge in the face of overwhelming odds. Pilots who transitioned to the Spitfire often spoke of its responsiveness and the confidence it inspired during combat maneuvers, qualities that would prove crucial in the crucible of aerial warfare to come. By the summer of 1940, as Germany prepared for an invasion of Britain, the Royal Air Force had made concerted efforts to increase the production and deployment of Spitfires. These efforts coincided with advances in ground-based radar technology and the establishment of an integrated air defense system, which together formed a comprehensive shield against enemy incursions. The Spitfire's role within this system was indispensable. It was the primary interceptor tasked with engaging Luftwaffe fighters and bombers before they could inflict critical damage on British targets. The aircraft's elliptical wings and powerful Merlin engine gave the Spitfire an edge in dogfights, particularly when pitted against the Luftwaffe's Messerschmitt Bf 109 fighters. While the Bf 109 was a formidable opponent, the Spitfire's superior turning radius and acceleration at certain altitudes offered RAF pilots a tactical advantage. This advantage was not absolute, as the outcome of engagements often depended on pilot skill, tactical positioning, and the element of surprise. Still, the Spitfire's design allowed British pilots to exploit these factors more effectively than many other fighters in the RAF's arsenal. Training programs for Spitfire pilots were accelerated to meet the urgent demand for skilled aircrew. The RAF emphasized the importance of mastering the aircraft's handling characteristics, including its relatively sensitive controls and high landing speeds, which required precise technique during takeoff and touchdown. Pilots who mastered these aspects could leverage the Spitfire's agility to outmaneuver opponents, while those less experienced faced increased risks. The demands of flying the Spitfire underscored the symbiotic relationship between technological innovation and human skill that defined aerial combat during this era. As Britain braced for the Luftwaffe's impending campaign, the Spitfire stood ready to defend the nation's skies. Although initially available in limited numbers, the aircraft represented a beacon of hope and a concrete response to the challenges posed by modern air warfare. Its development in the 1930s, driven by the foresight of designers like Mitchell and the engineering prowess behind the Merlin engine, had yielded a fighter capable of meeting the demands of the rapidly changing battlefield. This period of preparation and technological advancement set the stage for what would become one of the most critical chapters in the air war over Europe. The Spitfire, with its cutting-edge design and the skilled pilots who flew it, would soon be tested in the crucible of the Battle of Britain. Its performance in those desperate months would prove pivotal, not only in defending the British Isles but in shaping the broader course of the war. Thus, the birth of the Spitfire was not merely the introduction of a new aircraft, it was a defining moment in the evolution of aerial combat and a testament to Britain's determination to withstand and ultimately overcome the aerial menace that threatened its very survival. By the summer of 1940, the Royal Air Force found itself thrust into a battle of unprecedented intensity and consequence. The skies over southern England became the stage for a fierce contest between the RAF and the Luftwaffe, a confrontation that would come to be known as the Battle of Britain. At the forefront of this struggle were the Spitfire pilots, men whose skill, courage, and determination would prove vital in defending their homeland against relentless aerial assault. The Luftwaffe's strategy was clear: to achieve air superiority by destroying the RAF's fighter forces, thereby paving the way for an invasion of Britain. German tactics involved massed formations of bombers, escorted by squadrons of Messerschmitt Bf 109 fighters, which sought to overwhelm British air defenses through coordinated attacks. These raids targeted airfields, radar stations, and key infrastructure, aiming to cripple the RAF's ability to respond effectively. Against this backdrop, the Spitfire emerged as a crucial countermeasure. Its superior speed and maneuverability allowed RAF pilots to engage the enemy with confidence, often gaining the upper hand in dogfights against the Bf 109. The aircraft's elliptical wings and powerful Rolls-Royce Merlin engine gave it an exceptional turning radius and acceleration, qualities that proved decisive in the close-quarter aerial battles that defined the campaign. The pilots who flew the Spitfire became known as the Few, a term immortalized by Prime Minister Winston Churchill's rallying speech, "Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few." These men faced overwhelming odds, often flying multiple sorties a day with minimal rest. Their commitment to defending British skies was unwavering, and their skill in exploiting the Spitfire's capabilities played a pivotal role in repelling the Luftwaffe's attacks. Integral to the RAF's success was the advanced radar network known as Chain Home, which provided early warning of incoming raids. This technology allowed fighter command to efficiently deploy Spitfire squadrons to intercept enemy formations before they could reach their targets. Ground controllers guided pilots with precise vectors, maximizing the effectiveness of each sortie and conserving precious resources. The tactical interplay between radar detection, command and control, and the Spitfire's performance created a formidable defense system. Unlike earlier conflicts, where pilots relied primarily on visual spotting and chance encounters, the Battle of Britain featured a sophisticated integration of technology and tactics. This synergy enabled the RAF to meet the Luftwaffe's relentless pressure with coordinated and timely responses. Combat reports from Spitfire pilots reveal the intensity and danger of these engagements. One pilot recalled, "The sky was filled with tracers and explosions. It was as if the very air around us was alive with fire." The Spitfire responded to every command, weaving through the chaos like a dancer. Such accounts underscore the aircraft's responsiveness and the pilot's reliance on its superior handling to survive and prevail. The Luftwaffe's Bf 109 fighters, while formidable, faced challenges against the Spitfire. Although the German aircraft had the advantage of a slightly higher top speed in some variants, the Spitfire's ability to outturn and outclimb at certain altitudes gave British pilots tactical options to evade or counterattack. The dynamic of these engagements was fluid, with victories often hinging on pilot skill, situational awareness, and the ability to exploit momentary advantages. Despite the advantages offered by the Spitfire, the RAF faced significant attrition. The intense pace of operations strained both aircraft and aircrew, and losses were heavy on both sides. However, the combined effect of superior tactics, technology, and the Spitfire's performance gradually eroded the Luftwaffe's ability to sustain its offensive. As the battle wore on, German losses mounted, and the strain on their pilot training programs became increasingly apparent. The Battle of Britain was not merely a defensive campaign, it was a test of endurance and innovation. The RAF continually adapted its strategies, rotating squadrons to manage fatigue and incorporating lessons learned from combat experiences. The Spitfire itself saw incremental modifications aimed at improving armament effectiveness and engine reliability, ensuring that it remained a potent weapon throughout the protracted struggle. One notable aspect of the Battle of Britain was the interplay between the Spitfire and the Hawker Hurricane. While the Spitfire often engaged the Luftwaffe's fighters, the Hurricane bore much of the burden in attacking the German bombers. This division of roles allowed the Spitfire pilots to focus on gaining air superiority, a task for which their aircraft was uniquely suited. Together, these fighters formed a complementary defense network that maximized the RAF's combat effectiveness. The psychological impact of the Spitfire's presence during the battle cannot be understated. For the British public, the aircraft became a symbol of hope and defiance. Newsreels and propaganda highlighted the exploits of Spitfire pilots, fostering a sense of national unity and determination. The aircraft's sleek design and performance captured the public's imagination, reinforcing the narrative of British technological prowess and fighting spirit. As the Luftwaffe shifted tactics, targeting London and other cities in an attempt to break civilian morale, the Spitfire continued to play a vital role in intercepting night raids and defending against attacks by fighter bombers. The flexibility and adaptability of both the aircraft and its pilots were crucial in meeting these evolving threats. The Battle of Britain culminated in a strategic victory for the RAF and, by extension, the United Kingdom. The failure of the Luftwaffe to establish air superiority forced Adolf Hitler to postpone and eventually abandon plans for invasion. This outcome preserved Britain as a critical base for future Allied operations and marked a turning point in the war. In retrospective analyses, the Spitfire's contribution to this victory is consistently emphasized. Its design allowed RAF pilots to meet the Luftwaffe on equal or superior terms, while its technological innovations set new standards in fighter aircraft performance. The combination of aircraft, radar, command infrastructure, and pilot valor constituted a comprehensive defense that altered the trajectory of the conflict. The legacy of the Battle of Britain and the role of the Spitfire within it endure in both historical scholarship and popular memory. The aircraft's success in this campaign established it as a cornerstone of British air power, setting the stage for its continued evolution and deployment in subsequent theaters of war. The courage and skill of the few, flying the Spitfire against overwhelming odds, remain emblematic of the indomitable spirit that defined Britain's aerial defense during its darkest hour. Following the hard-fought victory of the Battle of Britain, the Supermarine Spitfire entered a new phase of its operational life, one defined by continuous evolution and adaptation. The dynamic nature of aerial warfare during the Second World War demanded that the Spitfire not remain static. Technological advancements and shifting combat requirements necessitated a series of modifications and the introduction of numerous variants to maintain its effectiveness against an ever-changing enemy. The initial models of the Spitfire, while revolutionary at their introduction, faced increasing challenges as the Luftwaffe introduced more advanced aircraft, notably the Focke-Wulf FW-190. This new German fighter, faster and more heavily armed than previous models, threatened to erode the Spitfire's hard-won advantages. In response, British engineers and designers embarked on an ambitious program to upgrade the Spitfire's performance and armament, ensuring it could meet and exceed the demands of modern air combat. One of the most significant areas of development was the enhancement of the aircraft's engine. The Rolls-Royce Merlin engine underwent successive improvements, with later marks delivering increased horsepower and improved high-altitude performance. These refinements allowed the Spitfire to achieve greater speeds and climb rates, critical factors in dogfighting and interception missions. In some variants, the introduction of the Merlin 61 and subsequent engines with two-stage superchargers extended the aircraft's operational ceiling, enabling it to engage enemy bombers and reconnaissance planes at altitudes previously unattainable. Armament also saw substantial upgrades. The original 8.303 Browning machine guns, though effective, were eventually supplemented or replaced by a combination of 20mm Hispano cannons and machine guns in various configurations. This increase in firepower was crucial for dealing with more robust and better protected enemy aircraft. The cannon-armed Spitfires could inflict devastating damage with fewer rounds, a vital improvement during fast-paced aerial engagements where every second counted. In addition to engine and armament enhancements, the Spitfire's airframe underwent modifications to improve its combat effectiveness. Later variants featured strengthened structures to accommodate heavier armament and increased fuel capacity, extending operational range, a key factor as RAF missions expanded beyond Britain's shores. Changes to the wing design, including clipped wingtips in certain models, improved roll rates and low-altitude performance, adapting the aircraft to diverse combat scenarios. These developments transformed the Spitfire into a versatile platform capable of fulfilling multiple combat roles. Beyond its primary function as an air superiority fighter, the aircraft was adapted for reconnaissance missions, outfitted with cameras and modified fuel systems to conduct high-speed, high-altitude photographic surveillance critical for intelligence gathering. Ground attack variants emerged as well, equipped with bombs and rockets to support Allied forces in offensive operations, demonstrating the Spitfire's flexibility in the evolving theater of war. The engineering behind these continuous improvements was a testament to British ingenuity and the collaborative efforts of designers, manufacturers, and frontline pilots. Feedback from combat experience informed design changes, ensuring that each new variant addressed the shortcomings and maximized the strengths revealed in operational use. This iterative process kept the Spitfire relevant in an era of rapid technological advancement and shifting tactical demands. Pilot skill and adaptability remained paramount in exploiting the Spitfire's evolving capabilities. Each new variant presented its own handling characteristics and performance envelopes, requiring ongoing training and familiarization. Pilots reported that while newer models offered enhanced speed and firepower, they also demanded greater attention to throttle management and maneuvering techniques, especially at higher altitudes where the aircraft's behavior differed markedly from earlier versions. The introduction of the Focke-Wulf FW-190 by the Luftwaffe in 1941 marked a significant challenge for the RAF's fighter force. The FW-190's rugged design, powerful engine, and heavy armament initially gave it an edge over the Spitfire MKV, the most common variant at the time. RAF squadrons faced increased casualties, prompting urgent efforts to accelerate the deployment of improved Spitfire models. The arrival of the Spitfire Mk9, equipped with the Merlin 61 engine and enhanced armament, restored parity and eventually supremacy in many engagements, underscoring the importance of continuous technological advancement. The Spitfire's adaptability extended beyond European skies. In North Africa and the Mediterranean theaters, its variants were tailored to cope with harsh climatic conditions and varied mission profiles. Modifications included tropical filters to protect engines from dust and sand, as well as adjustments to cooling systems. These adaptations allowed the Spitfire to maintain operational readiness and effectiveness across diverse environments, contributing significantly to Allied successes in multiple campaigns. Throughout these developments, the aircraft's iconic elliptical wing remained a defining feature, balancing aerodynamic efficiency with structural integrity. This wing design, initially conceived by Reginald J. Mitchell, proved remarkably versatile, accommodating a range of armament configurations and fuel loads without compromising flight performance. The Spitfire's sleek lines and graceful silhouette persisted even as internal systems and external fittings evolved, preserving its reputation as one of the most aesthetically and functionally advanced fighters of the era. In the cockpit, technological advancements were mirrored by improvements in instrumentation and pilot aids. Later Spitfires incorporated more sophisticated radio equipment, enhanced gun sights, and oxygen systems that extended pilot endurance at higher altitudes. These enhancements improved situational awareness and combat effectiveness, enabling pilots to engage more confidently and with greater precision. The sustained production of Spitfire variants throughout the war reflected both the aircraft's enduring value and the adaptability of British industry. Factories across the United Kingdom and in Commonwealth countries contributed to manufacturing efforts, ensuring a steady supply of improved models to frontline units. This industrial capacity was vital in offsetting losses and maintaining the RAF's fighting strength against the Axis powers. The Spitfire's evolution was not merely a technical journey but also a reflection of the changing nature of air warfare. As the conflict progressed, the demands placed on fighter aircraft shifted from short-range defensive missions to longer-range offensive operations, including bomber escort and interdiction roles. The Spitfire's ability to adapt to these varied tasks through incremental design changes ensured it remained a key asset across different theaters and phases of the war. The aircraft's versatility was further demonstrated by its use in specialized roles such as photo reconnaissance. Stripped of armament and fitted with cameras, these Spitfires conducted high-speed, high-altitude missions deep into enemy territory, gathering critical intelligence that shaped Allied strategic decisions. These unarmed variants relied heavily on speed and altitude for survival, showcasing the Spitfire's exceptional performance characteristics. The interplay between technological innovation and pilot expertise defined the Spitfire's ongoing success. Each new variant demanded a nuanced understanding of its capabilities and limitations, with training programs evolving in parallel to prepare aircrew for the challenges of modern aerial combat. Pilots who mastered the latest models could exploit their superior speed, climb, and firepower to dominate engagements, while those less familiar risked being outmaneuvered or outgunned. In summary, the continuous improvements and introduction of new Spitfire variants ensured that the aircraft remained at the forefront of Allied fighter technology throughout the war. The combination of enhanced engines, upgraded armament, structural modifications, and role-specific adaptations kept the Spitfire competitive against evolving German designs such as the Focke-Wulf FW-190. Its versatility in roles ranging from air superiority and ground attack to reconnaissance demonstrated the ingenuity of its designers and the skill of its pilots. This ongoing evolution was central to the Spitfire's enduring legacy as one of the most effective and iconic fighters of the Second World War. As the war progressed beyond the shores of Britain, the Supermarine Spitfire transitioned from a defensive guardian of the homeland to an instrument of Allied offensive power. Its deployment expanded across multiple theaters, where it played a pivotal role in securing air dominance and supporting ground operations. This evolution reflected not only the aircraft's inherent adaptability but also the growing cooperation among Allied forces striving to reclaim occupied territories and press the fight into Axis-held lands. In North Africa, the Spitfire was instrumental in countering the formidable Luftwaffe and Regia Aeronautica forces. The harsh desert environment posed unique challenges, from sand and dust infiltrating engines to extreme temperatures affecting performance. Yet, with modifications such as tropical filters and reinforced cooling systems, Spitfire squadrons operated effectively, providing critical air cover for advancing Allied ground troops. Their ability to intercept enemy fighters and bombers disrupted Axis air operations, contributing significantly to the eventual Allied victory in the campaign. The Mediterranean theater further showcased the Spitfire's versatility. Supporting operations in Sicily and Italy, the aircraft conducted a wide range of missions including air superiority patrols, bomber escort, and ground attack. The varied terrain and climatic conditions demanded constant adaptation, a testament to both engineering ingenuity and pilot proficiency. Spitfires engaged in fierce dogfights with German and Italian fighters, demonstrating their enduring competitiveness even as the war entered its middle stages. A hallmark of this period was the increasing cooperation between British, American, and Commonwealth air forces. Joint missions became commonplace, with pilots from diverse backgrounds flying together in mixed squadrons. The Spitfire often operated alongside American fighters such as the P-51 Mustang and P-47 Thunderbolt, complementing each other's strengths. This collaboration fostered a shared tactical doctrine and mutual respect among Allied airmen, enhancing effectiveness in complex operations. One of the most critical uses of the Spitfire during this phase was in the lead-up to and aftermath of the D-Day landings in Normandy, 1944. The aircraft was tasked with achieving and maintaining air superiority over the invasion beaches and surrounding regions. Spitfire pilots engaged in relentless patrols, intercepting Luftwaffe fighters attempting to disrupt the landings and subsequent supply lines. Their efforts were crucial in securing the skies for the vast Allied armada and ensuring the success of the largest amphibious assault in history. Notable among the pilots flying the Spitfire in these campaigns were figures whose exploits became legendary. Their courage and skill underpinned many tactical victories and inspired fellow airmen. These pilots often recounted the aircraft's responsiveness and the confidence it instilled during perilous missions. One veteran recalled, "In the Spitfire, you felt connected to the sky, every input translated instantly, and it gave you the edge when seconds meant survival." Beyond pure fighter engagements, the Spitfire's role expanded to include ground attack missions, where it strafed enemy positions, supply convoys, and infrastructure. These operations required modifications such as bomb racks and rocket projectiles, transforming the aircraft into a formidable multi-role platform. The ability to switch between air-to-air combat and ground attack made the Spitfire invaluable during fast-moving campaigns, where air support could decisively influence the outcome of battles. The aircraft's adaptability was further demonstrated in reconnaissance roles. Specialized photo-reconnaissance Spitfires, stripped of armament and fitted with cameras, gathered critical intelligence over enemy territory. These missions demanded extreme caution and skill, as the pilots relied on speed and altitude to evade interception while capturing vital images that informed strategic planning. Naval cooperation also marked a significant chapter in the Spitfire's operational history. Although primarily a land-based fighter, naval variants were developed to operate from aircraft carriers, extending the reach of Allied air power. These carrier-based Spitfires participated in protecting convoys and supporting amphibious operations at sea, showcasing the aircraft's flexibility in adapting to maritime conditions. Throughout these campaigns, the Spitfire proved to be a reliable and effective tool of Allied air power. Its continued upgrades ensured it remained competitive against evolving German fighters and ground defenses. The aircraft's presence not only enhanced tactical capabilities but also served as a symbol of Allied determination and technological prowess. The collaboration between Allied air forces flying the Spitfire fostered a shared sense of purpose and camaraderie. Pilots from Britain, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, and the United States found common cause in mastering the aircraft's capabilities and confronting a ruthless enemy. This multinational effort underscored the Spitfire's role as more than just a British fighter; it became a unifying element in the broader Allied war effort. Tactical doctrines evolved alongside technological advancements. The Spitfire's speed and agility were leveraged in hit-and-run tactics, surprise interceptions, and escort missions that shielded bombers from enemy fighters. Commanders learned to exploit the aircraft's strengths while mitigating its vulnerabilities, such as limited range in earlier variants. These lessons were critical in maximizing the Spitfire's impact across diverse combat scenarios. The aircraft's contribution to securing air superiority during the liberation of Europe cannot be overstated. By denying the Luftwaffe freedom of action, the Spitfire facilitated the advance of ground forces and the disruption of enemy supply lines. Its presence in the skies helped to break the German hold on occupied territories, paving the way for the eventual collapse of the Third Reich. The exploits of Spitfire pilots during these operations were marked by acts of extraordinary bravery and skill. Their accounts reveal the harsh realities of aerial combat, split-second decisions, mechanical failures, and the constant risk of death or capture. Yet, the Spitfire's performance often provided the margin of safety and success, allowing these aviators to emerge victorious against formidable opponents. In sum, the Spitfire's role in offensive operations across multiple theaters demonstrated its remarkable versatility and enduring effectiveness. Its ability to adapt to different combat environments and mission profiles made it a cornerstone of Allied air power. The cooperation among Allied forces flying the Spitfire symbolized a united front against tyranny, while the aircraft itself remained a testament to the ingenuity and determination that characterized the Allied war effort. The Supermarine Spitfire's journey from its inception through the crucible of war established it as one of the most iconic and effective fighter aircraft in aviation history. Its service spanned the entirety of the Second World War, and its legacy extended far beyond the conflict's end, shaping the trajectory of military aviation and capturing the imagination of generations. In the post-war years, the Spitfire continued to serve in various air forces around the world, a testament to its enduring design and adaptability. Though newer jet-powered fighters rapidly emerged, the Spitfire's performance and versatility allowed it to remain in frontline service well into the late 1940s and early 1950s, particularly in countries where the pace of technological change was slower or where the aircraft's proven reliability was highly valued. The influence of the Spitfire on subsequent aircraft designs is unmistakable. Its pioneering use of aerodynamic principles, such as the elliptical wing, and its integration of powerful, reliable engines set benchmarks for fighter development. Engineers and designers drew lessons from its successes and limitations, informing the evolution of post-war fighters that would increasingly rely on jet propulsion but still benefit from the foundational concepts the Spitfire embodied. Culturally, the Spitfire has attained a near-mythical status, especially in Britain, where it symbolizes resilience, technological innovation, and the indomitable spirit of those who defended the nation during its darkest hours. Museums around the world preserve surviving examples, many kept in flying condition by dedicated restoration teams. These aircraft serve not only as historical artifacts but as living tributes to the pilots who flew them and the engineers who crafted them. The Spitfire's iconic silhouette and evocative name continue to feature prominently in commemorations, literature, and media, reinforcing its place in the collective memory of the war. Annual airshows and remembrance events draw crowds eager to witness the aircraft's graceful flight, a poignant reminder of the sacrifices and triumphs of the past. Stories of individual Spitfire pilots and squadrons further enrich the legacy. Their accounts reveal a blend of technical mastery, courage, and camaraderie that defined the air war. Pilots often spoke of the bond they shared with their aircraft, describing the Spitfire as an extension of themselves in the sky, a partner in the life-and-death dance of aerial combat. The aircraft's role in securing Allied victory has been the subject of extensive historical analysis. Scholars recognize the Spitfire's contribution not solely in terms of raw performance but as part of an integrated system of technology, training, and tactics that collectively turned the tide against the Axis air threat. Its ability to evolve in response to new challenges underscored the dynamic nature of wartime innovation. Preservation efforts continue to ensure that the Spitfire remains a tangible link to history. Organizations around the world invest considerable resources in restoring and maintaining these aircraft, enabling new generations to experience their sight and sound in flight. Such endeavors honor the memory of those who built, maintained, and flew Spitfires, reinforcing the aircraft's status as a symbol of courage and technical excellence. The Spitfire's story is also one of human endeavor, of the designers who dared to innovate, the factory workers who brought the aircraft to life, and the pilots who risked all to defend freedom. This collective effort defines the aircraft's enduring significance, transforming it from a mere machine into a cultural and historical icon. Ultimately, the Supermarine Spitfire's triumph was not limited to its battlefield victories. It became a beacon of hope and a testament to what can be achieved when ingenuity, determination, and skill converge in the face of adversity. Its legacy endures as a sky warrior, emblematic of a generation that faced unprecedented challenges and emerged victorious, forever shaping the course of history.